I don't know about that, man. Welcome back to Urban Academia. I'm gonna say it one more time, like Dr. Umar. Welcome back to Urban Academia. I'm your host Jay Zilla, and with me, as always, is Mr. Chulo Rich. What's happening, man?
What's happening there, Jay Zilla? What's the word, man?
Word, man, is code switching. Oh, code switching.
Word.
Yeah, so that's where we start, man. But first off, how you been? What you been up to this week? Yeah, going on.
Oh, that man. Everything as usual, man. Just glad to be sitting down for a minute somewhere where I can talk, open up. You know what I mean? I just saw that post on Facebook again, where they ask, where do you turn or where do you go when you need somebody to talk to as a man and this and that. So just glad to be back, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Same here, man. Look, you're a businessman, trucker, husband, father, do it all. It's crazy. I'm just glad to get you to sit down and chat with me for a little bit, man. Um,
I like
yeah. So this code switching thing, I have an idea of what it is, right? But I want to kind of nail down a good, solid what is code switching as we let a few more people join here. Um, yeah, what's your idea of code switching?
code switching. I mean, first off, you gotta identify exactly what that means, but just hearing it, I feel like it's something secretive, something that started off one way and totally flip flopped. I don't know. Just depends on what you're talking about. I know one example is the youth of today.
Hmm.
Freestyle, the word freestyle, they're talking about their
Right.
music and this and that. It's, oh man, just got a real dope freestyle and this and that. But the nigga's reading it off his phone. Like, that's not a freestyle. That's, to me, that's code switching. Somebody switch that shit up. Freestyle is supposed to
Oh,
just
I
come off
got
the top
you.
of you. Yeah.
I don't know if the word
So I
is
don't know. I
pejorative.
don't know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't know how you use it. Just depending on how you use it.
Okay. And see, for me, it was. I know for me, it was more of a negative thing, right? You with your boys, you talking crap, and then a teacher or something. At least back in our day, right? A teacher or parent come through, you straighten up real quick. How you doing today? Hey, good morning. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So that's what
Mhm.
I hear when I think of code switch. But us being part of urban academia, which is our show, urban academia. I gotta get used to saying this name, urban academia. One more time, urban academia. Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna use Urban Dictionary. Now this feels very weird. These are words that come from us, people look like us, our community, black community. So I don't know. I always have two feelings about Urban Dictionary. I guess it depends on who's reading, who's reading the actual Urban Dictionary. Excuse me. So code switching. It says to customize style of speech to the audience or group being addressed. And the example they give is like she talks street with her friends in school, and when she with her family,
Oh,
she is
okay.
code switching in speech
I just
proper
never heard
English.
that referred to as code switching. We call it talking white or black, one
Talking
of the
white
two.
or black.
Now,
Now that's interesting. Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then lines start getting crossed and blurred and switched and all that shit. But that's what I know it by versus code switching. Um,
Right.
but at the end of the day, you can tell by listening to his vernacular and my vernacular that there is no such thing as speaking white or speaking black. It's proper English. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I will not say that there's not a twang that I speak with that that's what people mean when they say that. I'm not going to not acknowledge the fact that I don't know what you mean if you say you've taken it all away from your voice, and because we do have a natural something in the back of our voice, and I can
Mm-hmm.
choose to get rid of it. I can use my court voice or the voice that I need to speak to the police in, which are two totally separate voices from anything else I use anywhere else. You know what I mean? But they do exist. You know what I mean? Some
Right.
people can I can be talking to you like this or whoever else like this, but if the police pull up, I got to change my tone. You know what I mean? It becomes
Absolutely.
really.
All right. So that's an interesting way to look at it. So this is the many shades of code switching, right? Like, is it to get
Sure.
out of something or get into something? Right? You might be hard in one way, but then, run up on a young lady, then it switches up to, it's hard. You can trust me, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Code switching.
Getting a
But I
job.
know for a job. Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
interview interview rich versus just hanging out, chilling rich, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Do you have a situation where you may have code switched and kind of, I don't know, do you ever feel bad about it or like, man, I'm weak for that? Look, I'm gonna filibust for you because I've had plenty of situations to where I thought I needed to kind of change up how I talk, my mannerisms. We talked before about like there are times where I kind of go up an octave because if I use the deep voice, then I seem more intimidating
Yeah.
for whatever reason. Make sure I do a lot of smiling. You know what I mean? It kind of goes with my happy-go-lucky personality, but it has got me into a lot of things. Manners, smiling, and maybe even like hunching over, not being as tall as I am. I'm 6'4" ish these days. I say ish. I'm old now. I ain't gonna tell me if I was shrunk or not. But yeah. So I've had plenty of situations where I'm cold switching, and afterwards like, man, I wish I could just act like that, man. I'm too big for this. Why did I play the nice route right there? You know what I mean? You ever see any situations like that?
I mean, yeah, of course, of course. I know personally though, especially the older I get, sometimes I'll try my best to, be in whatever character I'm supposed to be in because we all play different characters at different times, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's those times where, a person has, I was somewhere and said something about, those thuggish people or something like that. When she said it, I just got offended. Like, no, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Right.
So then I became as thuggish as I could be, because I was irritated by what she was saying. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't judge people when you don't even fucking know them,
There's some situations where it's like, all right, if this is what you think, let me show you what it really
Right.
looks like, right?
Oh, you're an asshole.
What's up,
Oh, let me
Mr.
flip
Bills? Yeah. Maybe at a time where, man, I'll probably overtell this story, man. I'm working at one of the car plants, right? I'm on the line. What's up, Mr. Bills? Thanks for joining us. And anybody who may be joining us, we're talking code switching, good, bad, ugly, yes or no. You want to join
Give him
us?
what he thinks they can do.
Yeah, man. You want to join us on the video? There we go. Sorry for our listeners who may be just doing Spotify, iTunes, or anything like that, getting the audio only. But people on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, they're in the Twitterverse. Hello. So yeah, click that link, follow us on, jump on in there. So yeah, on the line, white guy comes up to me, tells me a racist joke, and I'll just laugh it off. But to really try to drive this point home to him, like before I just started lecturing him on, I appreciate it. That was objectively that was funny. But let me tell you what's wrong with this scenario. But instead of going down a lecture sort of thing, I opted to just show him. So I called over a couple of my boys, who are, because we have in the black community, outside the black community, there's this idea of like there's black and then there's black. You know what I mean? So just for the sake of this story, I called a couple of black dudes over. Like, hey, what's up, man? What's up? You know what I'm saying? What's happening, man? What's happening? I said, hey, man, tell him that joke you told me. It's hilarious, man.
Right.
Oh, he turned so red. He got so quiet.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? A lot of stuttering. I was like, oh, never mind, man. I'll tell y'all later, man, if I can remember.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Why didn't you tell me? Yeah.
And so I literally say, if you can't tell anybody that joke, it's probably not a joke you should be telling. There's something wrong when you feel like you can tell me that joke, but you couldn't tell them.
You know what's funnier to me?
That's it. I just left it at that.
I could guarantee you was bigger than the dudes you went and got.
Oh yeah.
So the funny part to me is that he felt comfortable saying it to you, and then you go get the smaller guys that he don't know their personality, and then he's like, I don't know about that joke. You know,
Look,
that's
man,
crazy.
go ahead and call me a bully, man. How's that a bully? Like, I could have just been like, hey, man, let me tell y'all this racist joke he told me, and let's go talk to him about how, you know what I mean? It would have, like we talked about
That was
before.
slick some mafia shit you did though. That's the equivalent of taking your pistol out and putting it on the table. We all know what it means. We don't have to say
You know, man,
it.
listen, hey, man, you got a nice face, though. I hate to see something happen to it, you know?
Yeah, right.
It was some Soprano stuff, right? Well, no, I just thought, like, like the first, honestly, my first impression, I can't remember what the joke was, but my first impression was like, that's funny. And then it hit me like, man, that's racist. That's super racist. You know, for him to be telling me this joke. And then I thought,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him about it because I'm very much a person who likes to just quietly talk about it one on one, air out our grievances, so this doesn't continue. Because I've been in situations before at jobs where you just laugh stuff off, just like, okay, laugh and move on. But what you don't realize is that here they come again, time and time again, because once they get a laugh, oh, there's a bigger laugh
I've
out there.
never laughed off a racist joke.
Say again?
Not without saying something. Like I ain't never laughed off a racist joke without saying something. Like I just ain't really built like that. Like if you feel like you can make if it's funny, it's funny. You feel me? I don't give a shit who you are, what color you are. If you say some shit to me and it's funny, then you knew you were saying it because it was funny. Now, if you make this joke and it's got racist undertones and this and that and this, you got to stand on whatever the fuck you just said to me. I don't know what you're talking about. You know?
Bill said, appreciate it, Bill. He was like, that's a bully move, gangster move, but didn't say it wasn't necessary. Yeah, and I'm telling you, like, it was just a reaction, you know, very reactionary. And it happened like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, no, I'm not going to even tell you, hey, you know, B, Greg, hey, come here over there. I'll be dropping names out there, but yeah, come on over there, hear this joke. You know, I just thought it was a sort of a twist. So I can show him how he felt in that moment.
I've been slapping my knee. I've been slapping my knee. Ah, y'all come here. Listen to this.
Man, y'all got to hear this joke. It's hilarious. Yeah, man. So code switching. We talked about job code switching. Did you ever have to switch to like, you know, I'm a pretty even-keeled guy. Have you ever had a moment where you had to like just go psycho rich on them? Just code switch, like show them
Psycho
like, psycho rich. I don't know. You know, I
Yeah,
watch like
man.
old school wrestling. Psycho Sid, he comes to the ring. He just
different
wide-eyed and
different situations, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, you know, it just is what it is. I try to be cool, calm, collected, you know what I mean? But if you cross that line, I'm gonna jump over it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna meet you there, you know. I'm gonna beat you there. I'm gonna you know, whatever you bring, I'm gonna bring more, you know.
absolutely.
You got a quarter attitude, you bring a pound. You know what I mean? I'm coming with whatever you want.
Right. What about this scenario? Have you ever? And now you're good at meeting people where they're at, right? You cool, calm. I can be cool, calm. If you're not, I can stay cool, calm, but I'm going to show you like if you continue your behavior, how you know it's going to be an issue, right? Have you had a situation where you caught somebody code switching and maybe called them out on it and just kind of poked at them a little bit?
Oh, absolutely, man. All the time. I'm too real for myself sometimes, to the point where I will fuck that. As Chappelle say, when keeping it real goes wrong, I'm learning in my older age when you shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't keep it because people won't keep it real with you. You kept it real, but then they won't, and then it turns left. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, all the time, and that's something that I tell people a lot. I tell people to, you know, and it's something that somebody told me, and I didn't used to do it. And I try to do it much more now. I ain't perfect at it, but I try to do it. And it's pick your battles. You know what I mean? You're like, don't make everything a fucking problem or a fight. You know what I mean? Some shit is nothing. And if it's nothing, let it be. Don't make it no issue if it ain't no issue. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'll leave it at that.
So look, I also let the audience peek behind the curtain a little bit. So part of my little homework assignment getting ready for the show is to make sure I have any recorded videos, edited videos ready to go. So I am unprepared for that. So I've got some issues going on, but I feel I have the feeling that had I been more prepared, I could have fixed this issue. But yeah, man, I know you sent me a couple of cool videos, man. Um, One kind of breaking down what grinding is, right? Everybody talking about grinding, how you should be grinding, and um, God breaks down sort of the definition of the word, the history of it, and how it's affecting us now. Um, you think you give the people sort of a synopsis of what the video was about? So we can talk about it.
I mean, it was basically about a man and doing what the majority of us feel is a man's job to do, which is whatever needs to be done under whatever circumstance they need to be done under, and still having to do whatever else needs to be done. Like you just did the impossible, and your son needs help tying his shoes and getting something off the top of. Like the shit just never stops. You know what I mean? So then they showed a couple that was older couple, and uh, it showed the older couple, and the woman was still moving and grooving. She was in her 60s, 70s, 80s. Couple different
Mhm.
couples, and the woman of each couple, was mobile and active and this and that. And the guy always had a cane and a walker and was broken down, and you know, he put so much in, and still really doesn't get credit for it. And just taking an understanding of that, opening your eyes to it, it may not be a lot that's going to be done about it, but sometimes just empathy goes a long way. And maybe it's not a lot you can do for a man, anybody, whoever, but just be empathetic. Maybe you're dealing with somebody, a man, and I can't get him no gifts because he already got everything and this and that. You can be
Right.
empathetic. You can be empathetic. You know what I mean? Like you can understand that we go through things, and that'll just be enough. You know what I mean? I don't need you to get me nothing. Just understand I'm human like you human. So like you have shit going on, and sometimes you're irritated or
Right.
upset
Right.
or stomach hurts or what. I'm no different. I'm no different.
That's it, man. That's it. The idea that in this short video that you said, when he's kind of breaking down, what was it? What grinding is? How we may always feel. So society, right? Our environment, ourselves, we kind of depict or build what it is to be a man. And a lot of times when we fall short of our own definition or what we think the definition of our significant other or anything, when we fall short of that, it becomes this huge blow up or implode, right? Because some of us are very much like, man, get out of here. I'm going to snap on the kid or something because of something I think I'm failing at or incompetent about. Or it's the internalizing it of like, man, look at my kids. I could be doing this
And
better.
it's
Why am I not doing this better?
it's generally most of the time, and see that's when it's real. And when you look at it yourself and you go, man, I could do this better. And this and so that's something that you're just saying you can do better. And there's no problem with that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You take that and you use that to make yourself better. What I don't like is that most of the shit that we have to react to is not even our own feelings. It's other people's feelings. You know, other
Right.
people feel like this, so I have to act like this. Like fuck all that. Like, and I say fuck that, but I still have to adhere to it. It just is what it is.
Right. Right.
And I adhere to it when I want to, and when I don't want to, I don't. It is what it is. I will call bullshit when it gets too fake. I'll
Yeah.
put my hands up and scream. Too fake. Can't do it. Can't do it.
And again, you guys want to join in the conversation, join us live here. Just click that link right there. Follow the prompts. We'd love to hear from you. So there are times where my wife, God bless her, because she kind of pulls me out of a lot of different moods, and she's like a dog with a bone. We don't really. She has her times where she kind of lets me be, right, and process on my own, self-soothe, whatever. But there are times like, no, we got to talk this out. We have to talk this out. But in doing that, I realized that there came a point where I felt almost like I didn't deserve the stuff that I have now, right? I don't deserve the house that we're in now, the wife, the family, the job, this show, like all this stuff. It's this weird somebody called it something, imposter syndrome, right? Where you almost feel bad for accomplishments. You start to worry like, am I really doing this? Do I deserve this? You ever have those sort of feelings?
Nah, man. You know what I have deep down. I feel that whole we're kings and queens and this and bro. Something inside of me when I stand up straight, I feel that to be true. So that's what's inside of me. I feel like I deserve everything. I feel like, you know what I mean, but I don't feel like it should be handed to me by anyone in particular, you know.
Yeah.
But if it was, I wouldn't feel like that was wrong, if that makes sense. I'm not the nigga that's, oh, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because like I told you, it doesn't even fucking make sense. It's not possible to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, what I would do, I want 40 acres in the mule like you motherfuckers promised. So if you want to drop that off, drop me that off, and I'll get it by my goddamn self. Yeah, I still want my shit.
Just give me what's due. Give me what's owed. Yeah. First of all, I just want to acknowledge me being over here like, yeah, man, I feel like an imposter. Like I don't deserve a lot of this stuff. You ever feel like that? Nah. No, I deserve everything. Like, what are you talking about? Everything I get, I deserve. But I'm sure you're the type of person.
I need more. Yeah, I need more.
I'm sure you're the type that also believes in like, good, bad, or ugly. I think for me, I get caught in this trap of making a mistake, and instead of taking that mistake and going, okay, recalibrate, keep moving forward. Sometimes I get stuck on that mistake. Man, how did I make it? Why did I make it? How was this even a possibility? What can I do? And it's just get caught in that.
To me, that means you ain't made enough mistakes.
Say again?
To me, that means you ain't made enough mistakes.
Ooh.
When I fuck up, I know it. I'll be like, damn. All right, next time. I'm used to fucking up. You know what I mean? I'm okay. It's what you do after you fuck up.
Yeah, maybe that's the internal code switch, right? It's the idea of like, ooh, I made a mistake. Here's what I do next time, right? It's switching from one mode to another and not allowing yourself to get bogged down with this vicious cycle of, I don't know, self-doubt, self-hate, whatever it is, right? Whatever you're feeling, whatever terminology you want to put on it to make yourself feel like, ooh, you messed up. Maybe this isn't something you should be doing. Maybe you should just quit. Maybe you should just not. You know what I mean?
Shit happens, man. Yeah. You know, you put the baby on the couch. You went to get his bottle. He rolled over.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Does this mean you shouldn't have children, or does this mean you should have put him in a different area?
Right. Learn a lesson? Spread that blanket out like I see my wife do. Spread the blanket out, put it on the floor. You can't fall and hit the floor. It's already down there.
There we go. Gotta learn. You know what I mean? So I mean, it just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. And I think my first son helped me with that because I can remember him being in different situations and me being pissed about it. You know what I mean? Like, why ain't nobody watching him and what's going on and this and that? You're gonna kill my son, and I'm just being dramatic. You know, I never had a kid before. You know, I'm tripping. And my brother told me one day, he said, "Man, look, you gotta calm the fuck down." He said, "But aside from that, God protects babies and fools." He said, "So if you don't think they know what they're doing, don't matter. Protect fools. The other boy is a baby. Everybody's covered. Just quit tripping." I said, "You're right. You're right."
Oh man, that's amazing. So yeah, I always love this sort of talk because you help me recalibrate, and hopefully some other people who feel like I do can recalibrate, and people who feel like you did, can help others calibrate. But man, I'm telling you, I love this idea of code switching too. So there was a statistic in one of the other podcasts that I sent to you, where they were talking about mental health in relationships, right? And how, surprise, surprise, if you have a white woman and a white man together, their mental health seems to be a lot better off than some other mixed couples or even black and black, right? So it's sort of
because of the color. Yes, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. But they also say So it's one of those sliding scale things, right? Because if we have two black people in a relationship, we share so much culturally, right? That we tend to not talk very much because what's understood don't need to be explained. Versus a mixed couple, like maybe a black and a white couple, they're not sure of each other's culture, so they're constantly, all right, talking, well, what do we do about this? What do we do about Thanksgiving? What do we do about Christmas? Right? Stuff like that to further, it causes them to actually talk more, and that generally is better when you communicate more in a relationship. So it's an interesting little study, man. It's an interesting little study. But I love how your more European, more Eastern cultures, who have a lot of sameness, right? We don't have the same issues that we do here in America, especially between black and white. Because if you think about it, even how segregation was set up, and even modern segregation is sort of set up, one side tends to feel inferior to the other. And I know for us, it's easy to look at from the black point of view of, all this media and advertisement talking about how white is great and black is, whatever it is, right? But on the flip side, especially in the poor all white schools in these Alabama and Mississippi neighborhoods, how they sort of look at the black side of like, man, the football team is really good. We'll never be that. Like it's crazy. Like even the music separation, like how segregation really takes a toll on this. You know what I mean? Got the wheels turning. Got the wheels turning.
It ain't that new. Segregation still exists. You know what I mean? Anytime people talk to me about segregation, all these conversations are hard for me to have because I'm too honest, right? So if I go to any school right now and I walk in the lunchroom, that bitch segregated. Any school in America.
Yeah.
If I go in the lunchroom right now, and that's fucking middle school, high school, as soon as they start having their own choices. You know what I mean? As soon as it's not assigned seats no more, and we go in the lunchroom, you got a group of niggas in this corner, you got the Gothic kids over here, you got the DECA kids over here, you got the nerds over here, you got the motherfuckers that will be expelled shortly over here. Like
that will be expelled shortly. Oh,
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's always segregated, you know what I mean? And that shit ain't changed, and I don't know when it's gonna change or if it will change. And that segregation is due to the people not wanting to code switch or not knowing how to code switch. To me, I was able to
try and fail.
Yeah, I was able to float around with anybody and speak to anybody because I just know how to do that. I don't know why. I'm a chameleon, you know what I mean? But you have those that they are this way and they don't know how to be any other way. They don't even understand you talking to them about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I take my my brother Ace, he watch the show from time to time, but a lot of people from Atlanta in general, they're gonna be themselves. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people from Detroit, like from different places that I frequented, you know what I mean? When people are really from there, or take somebody from Memphis, you know what I mean? You mess around and catch a cat from Memphis. Sometimes he can't fake it. He don't know how. You know what I mean? All you're gonna hear, hey man, I'm telling you, man, man. But that's who he is. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you take him to get a job. That shit's still gonna come out his mouth. It's how he speaks. You know, so I don't think there's a problem with code switching, but I don't think there's a problem. You call it whatever you want to. You just
adapted.
Do it whatever situation calls for. You know what I mean? If a situation calls for this, you bring that. You know, that's how I see it. I can't communicate with somebody I can't communicate with. You know what I mean? So if I'm in an executive office and this man is using vernacular that's one way, I'm gonna follow him. You know what I mean? Vice versa, if Snoop Dogg walk in the room, we're gonna switch it up completely. Even if these white men are here. Snoop walks in, I'm gonna greet him with, "Oh my nigga,
is it a pecking order, hierarchy, right? Like, I might be with this white dude, but if Snoop, it's more important in this situation."
Did you ever see the video where Obama was shaking hands with like a team? I can't remember what team it was, but he shook everybody's hand. These all the white guys, these regular handshakes. Hey, handshake. He gets to the nigga and it's pulls him
Hey,
in. And, you know what I mean? Everybody's like, "What was that?" You know what I mean? But
right.
so you call that code switching in, right? So
Right.
even he
Now,
knows when to do it,
but
when to pull it in. Like, everybody knows.
right. But the idea that Obama is the type, he's at a level where people, are changing codes for him versus vice versa. Like he did
Right.
that, for some, maybe some social gains or whatever. But I'm sure every white dude's like, man, I want one of them handshakes, man. That was pretty cool. Even the old Obama thought, man, catching on. Like it's something we've been doing forever, But
And you know what I think is funny?
What's that?
I think he does the regular handshake for social gains. This shit here, that's just regular shit. That's what he knows. Like, no matter how somebody looks at Barack Obama, that nigga from the south side of Chicago. He is the culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Shout out for real. So man, okay.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Shout out to him for sure, man. But I think it's interesting. Like, and you said modern day segregation is true. Of course, Brown versus Board of Education makes it illegal, those findings. But it's interesting how it still happens. There was a story, I may have sent you this or maybe to Dean. But there was a story, right now, there's a girl in high school right now. They do these like 6-word stories. And something about I shouldn't have to go, something about all black school or whatever, right? It's still segregation in a lot of places in Alabama where it's illegal to do it. And they kind of say it's more of a, what do you call it, a regional thing. But how it's done more so now is that, this black girl is her parents worked hard, they're in a different neighborhood, but she's still zoned for a school that's outside of her neighborhood and further away. So there's travel time, different resources and everything in the area where her parents pay taxes, right? She's not able to take advantage of those resources that her parents help pay for. So that's the modern day segregation. But what it does is it kind of cheapens the whole product, right? When you think about Americans, if you are actively stunting a select group of people, you can't then say that like, all right, for like if you're a scientist looking for some scientists, archaeologists, whatever, right? You can't say that you're looking at a real pool of talent, right? You're looking from a select pool of talent, which means most likely you're not going to get your best people. So your business ends up being hurt by your own policies, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We try to play a pickup game. We say, all right, I need all black people to the right over there. All right, who's left? That's where we're going to pick our teams from. The game may not be that athletic. I'm sorry.
And we've already seen it, right? We already saw that.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that, and then we filled it up with what needed to be there. We already tried that. They tried the regular. They tried them all without us. It doesn't work. Sorry, guys.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Which, I mean, even if you think about like a Serena Venus Williams, right? This lady's black Japanese girl, can't remember her name, Osaka or something, right? Even if you think about like a Tiger Woods, how people are looking at it like, man, this is amazing. That's a crazy once in a lifetime talent, right? But what happens if you?
I don't think so. There's plenty of niggas that can do that. They just don't do it.
No. I'm saying how they look at it. Oh, this is once in a lifetime, type of talent.
I know a nigga right now hit a hole in one. Wow.
Ace on the serve. Yeah, but I feel like how many more times are we gonna continue to have this sort of outlook, right? Because if you put that same sort of pool or pipeline in the youth sports, right, in tennis and golf or whatever, you'll probably find some more Tiger Woods and Serena and Venuses, right?
Oh, for sure.
But it's crazy how it has to be like some crazy circumstance to get you to even try to. I mean, like football is one of my favorite examples. Back in the day, if you look at those old clips, it's a very white game, right? And then some people start to integrate, and then they kind of blow past everybody else, right? And then all of a sudden,
Mhm.
everyone's saying, maybe we should give black people a chance because for them, winning was more important than racism, right? I think that's a clever way, something we could probably use now. Like, how can we make, how can we get a
I don't
goal?
think, and see, none of that, all that's bullshit to me. They just didn't want to give a chance. You know what I mean? Like they did
Right,
not want you to be seen doing anything cool or having anybody look at you in a way that gives you praise. You
right.
know what I mean?
But I'm
They knew
saying
we was
there
fat.
took a time. There took a time where people were like, let's give this a try. You know what I mean? I mean, just because when the first
That
few,
was for monetary purposes. It
oh
wasn't
yeah,
because they wanted to go and be fair or see how
no,
good,
no, no,
or
I'm talking
it
about
wasn't
fair.
because we had
Yeah,
such a gift. You know what I
no, no,
mean? It was
no.
because we can get
I'm talking about for a reason, right? For games, for their games, whether it's money, prestige, winning, whatever it was. I'm not even saying it's coming from a good place. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But there was a time where they were like, Rapid, I don't care how fast he is. I don't care how strong he is, how good he is. I don't want him
yeah,
anywhere near my white daughters. Let's just be real.
yeah.
Right? I don't care. But then you see that slowly start to change because, like you said, it can be monetary, it can be power, winning, all that stuff, right? So I'm just thinking, what do we do in the modern day era, right, to make those games more important than race, right? Being racist. Like,
What can we do?
how do you outweigh that? Yeah.
What can we do?
What can we do? Yeah.
A goddamn thing.
Well, I'm gonna
Nothing.
fuck up all my electrical equipment.
Oh man.
You will solve
Like that's not even us. You know what I mean? Like that's not even like, we don't have anything to do with that. We don't even know why they don't like us. As far as the whole, oh, we're racist and why? We're,
Well, I feel like we know
from
why
the
they don't like us. I feel like
look,
it
from the
starts
story
with
that you gave me, you picked us up and brought us to your house. So why are you mad at me? You know what I mean? Like,
I think even well before that, we know why they don't like us, right? It's because they were taught not to like us. It goes all the way back to the Moors when they're just taking up all this land, and not by bloody force, by an exchange of ideology, of information, right? We were teaching all over the place, to the point where even the creation of paper, when that starts rolling around, instead of going to try to conquer, Maoist China or anything like that, Moors decided, hey, let's see if we can trade with it. We'll give you this amount of knowledge and these goods.
niggas been hustlers forever.
It's a hustle.
Forever.
Oh, that's great.
Forever. You know what I mean? And that's the cool thing about it. And that's what people don't know. Everybody think because niggas are big and strong, they did everything with brute force. Nah, niggas was smart too. It was like, we want that. We got some of this. We'll bring y'all some of this. Can we get some of that? Yeah,
Right.
it's been working for years. Bartering is
Right.
not new. You know what I mean?
So this is where we find ourselves in the before what is it what is it? All the fighting King Arthur and all of them. I'm losing my train of thought. The Crusades.
Before King Arthur?
Before Crusades, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What I'm saying, before Crusades, right? The idea of all of this power that was amassed by the Moors through mostly education, right? There was always fights, but mostly education, and amassing all of this talent and power and commerce and trade, right? So the Pope now turns to, this is before they're all united, right? At this time, Scots hated the Irish hated the Brits, and so on and so forth. So the Pope puts out this decree that no, you're no longer Irish or whatever. We're all white. This is the first time you see it being based on, skin tone, really. And so they're marching through Spain, and they're trying to cross the river and take your children. And then all this propaganda, and then you amass this huge thing, and that starts that war. But if you think about that, that all comes from even the Pope and the King and the royalty of that time.
They got together and said, all right, you Irish, I'm German, he's from
Exactly.
Switzerland.
Right.
We all still white. But that nigga over there,
Man, they
nah.
coming for us. Right. I mean, it really is like a great tragedy, right? The idea that first of all you had the haves, all the royalty, right, and then you had the plebeians, right, the poor folks. I mean, the idea that over here in Moorish country, it was widely thought that everyone should know how to read, everyone should know how to eat properly and make sure they're healthy, all this sort of thing, right? Building,
That's normal.
plumbing systems and all sorts of things, man. The first mass paper mill, all this stuff, right? So kind of pushing that aside, and then the idea that the haves, right, the royals decide that we're going to lose our power if our own white people discover that their lives could be better if they were more educated and ate well and lived better, and that'll hurt what we are trying to amass. So they put this propaganda out to get the poor whites and the rich whites all going in the same direction against the others, right? It's one of the biggest example of otherizing. And that's what, created the war, the pushback, and, fast forward to today, we got a little more anxiety in the car if we get pulled over the neighborhood. So we understand the
Absolutely.
why, kind of where this sort of thing comes from. But I think, what is the sneaky ways that we can make what they want um, that aligns with our, I guess, where we're coming from? How do we get that to outweigh racism? You know what I mean? And if you look throughout different points of history, through sports, through inventions and all
We
sorts
don't.
of through
We,
wars
we do
sometimes.
that shit in private. That's what this is for. We have outlets to go and do that shit in private. I watched this show where LeBron James speaks candidly about different topics. You know why I watch it? Because he cusses. Because I can't hear him cuss anywhere else. Because he got a smile for white folks. So when I get to see him on this show and he say, "Nigga, shut up," I love it. It's the best thing in the world. When I get to see Shannon Sharp actually like the thing and hit the drink and say something on the, you know what I mean? Like, it's different than when he has to do this around white folks. It has to be a little different, you know what I mean? It is what it is, man. Like, and I don't think any culture is different than that for the most part. You have your twos and fews that when they go outside, that's just who they are. You know what I mean? But most people, when they're sitting amongst their culture and they're together in a closed room or inside a house or whatever, they are one way. When they get outside, a whole another way. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? I think as well behaved and all that as the Asian culture is, and I know they sit in them rooms and talk shit when they in the house. They in the house. They gotta talk shit. Everybody talks shit in the house. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The calmest, elderly couple of any race is talking shit at night. You know what I mean? Somebody's talking shit. It just is what it is. So,
Absolutely, man. But I think the only thing that I'm not saying we don't, whether or not we agree, but I think the idea is that we can find things to kind of counterbalance the things that we don't like. We got to do better at voting. I mean, there's an election coming up Tuesday. How many of us are going to be a part of that? It's just starting to demand and finding different ways. Like you said, we've always been hustlers.
as we talked about the culture.
Say again? Yeah. As you said before, we always were hustlers. We always found a way to get stuff done. I think one of the biggest things that happened was this ideal of the civil rights movement. Right after that bill was signed, there's more that kept happening until Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. Right, but they knew that if we can knock out a couple of people and kind of disperse them a little bit, we can stop this freight train that's headed straight towards our livelihood. Because King, he didn't just say it wasn't just a black movement, right? He got shot at a place where he was there to speak to worker unions about unionizing, because he's talking to black, brown, poor whites. Like, you guys need to wake up and understand something, that they are basically forcing you to work like this in order to grind you down so you don't have time to pay attention or better yourself. So I think there are always ways we have to do better about getting the ideology out instead of it being about a Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X or these figureheads. Like we need some more idealism is a little dangerous, but we need an idea that we can all grasp onto. And then when one person goes down, next man pick it up and keep it moving.
Yeah. When it comes to some of those larger things, the voting and this and that, I think a lot of us being approached the wrong way. You know, you're talking this, vote this, and do that. A bunch of shit that's unfamiliar to a lot of people that should be familiar, but it's unfamiliar. You know what I mean? So you have to start with stuff that they care about. You know what I mean? What is it that you give a fuck about? You know, and when they start naming off these things that they care about, well, you know how you get those things? You gotta take your black ass down there and vote. Because if you don't do that, you're not gonna get any of that shit you're talking about. You know, it's gonna be somebody that doesn't look like you, think like you, act like you, feel like you, making decisions about you. So
right. Like that movie that you showed me, man. You know, what do we want? Affordable housing. All right, we'll show up to this meeting and let's fight for this affordable housing. You know, you want your parks cleaned up, you want better living, you want wages, better wages. I mean, what do you want? I mean, who doesn't want to get paid more? You know?
Right.
Especially if you think about some of these positions where you get paid $10.50 to take care of a person in caregiving. Whereas if you go to Taco Bell, that's $12.50. That's a $2 raise just from switching jobs. You know what I mean? So how do we start to grasp all that? And I think you're right. It's just little by little, right? But it starts with these small incremental changes.
Yeah, you know, for me, a lot of things, you know, and I don't know that I'm that much different from other people, but I need to know what the reward is sometimes first before you talk to me about this whole long process. What's the reward? You know what I mean? When you're talking to kids about different jobs and shit, most of the time when you're trying to entice them, you tell them, oh, this one gets paid this much or this much, you know, and that's what you're basing it off of. And if you're not basing it off of that, then it's something real where you're basing it off of, oh, my son loves animals. Okay, well, I'm gonna try to push this nigga to be a veterinarian. You know what I mean? So if that works out for him, then that works out for him. But if it doesn't, then he's still got to figure it out anyway. But
hey, just like the little dude you showed me on the drones, man. Well, he could be more than what? I don't even know how.
He was 7.
7.
He was 7.
7 years old.
Yeah, he was 7.
Yeah.
And he was amazing. He was so amazing that the guys, the grown-ups that were playing with him, he just got out of control. They just stopped. They was like, we can't follow this shit. We don't know what he's doing. He was doing some real advanced, upbeat, you know, I don't know what he was. It sounded great though.
Right.
Yeah, but the mind can do any of that. So I don't believe in like not letting them do stuff. You know, I bought my son a 4-wheeler when he was like 3, but it's because I saw these white kids doing this X Games shit and they're riding them full-size motorcycles and shit like they're little, you know. I'm like, they can do this? Yeah, if you let them try it, you know, like anything they develop, they can do, you know. So just let them try shit. Let them do shit. Don't just, he's not tall enough or he's don't weigh enough. You don't know what the fuck he can do. Let him see.
Oh man, basing it off of what you did or what you thought you could have done. Like, well, he's got my genes. You know what I mean? Like me with football, making sure I'm not just trying to shove football down my kids' throat. You know what I mean? But I think that's what the drummer is saying. Go ahead.
You remember the scene in what was the Will Smith movie with his son?
In Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. Mm-hmm. Where he had the ball and he was dribbling the ball and he shot it and he missed. And it's like, look, I don't think you need to put so much energy into this. And he saw his son put his head down and he thought about it like, fuck, I just killed this dream. I'm trying to tell these people I'm finna go be a broker. They killing my dreams. And I just looked at my own blood and killed his dream. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then he went over there and he told him, don't even me. Don't let nobody kill your dream. You know what I mean? So that's real. That's real shit. You believe you can do something. You believe you can do something. Do that shit. Everybody else might not think so.
The recap code switching, man. Let's go through all these for a bit here. Hey, y'all, thanks for joining us. Recap code switching. It's okay to do. It's okay to do. Make sure you're doing it, you know, purposefully. And pay attention to your kids and pay attention to yourself. And it's okay to code switch, kids.
It's okay. It is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Code switching, aka speaking white, black, Mexican, Asian, whatever you speak. Speak how you speak. The point is to communicate. If you understood what I said, We good. Case in point, I said we good. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
So we good. Doesn't matter how I see it. You know what I
I
mean?
watched this. Well, I watched this thing. I feel like it's Peyton Manning and his brother Eli Manning, the football players, and they're doing an alternative viewing of Monday Night Football. I think you should check this out. It's hilarious. Two Super
sure.
Bowl multiple Super Bowl champions, just sitting back talking about football. And they have people come through all the time. And so one of the people they had come through was Beast Mode himself, right?
For sure.
He's sitting there. I mean, he's drinking hen. He's saying whatever he wants, how he wants. And it was a moment
really
where he's like, blah, blah, blah.
Now,
you know
he
what I
don't
mean?
cold switch.
You
He don't cold switch.
Oaklanders are Oakland.
And he rich. One thing about money will sometimes that cold switching just ends. You know, sometimes you got enough in your pot that you don't have to dance anymore. You know, cold switching ain't shit but dancing. We've been saying shucking and jiving and dancing and all that shit for years. It's same thing.
Danced. I used to love his interviews where he comes up and they ask him a question. He's like, well, you know what? I'm just here so I don't get fined. And that was his answer.
You know why I'm here.
You gotta look this up. You gotta look this up. It's hilarious.
To the point he stopped saying it, wore a shirt. You know why I'm here.
Right. You know why I'm here. But that is so funny. And then him leaning in like he's about to say something. What do you think about that? You know what? I'm just here so I don't get fined. And you know, he just kind of laid back. But this is a guy who comes from a place where Hell's Angels and, you know, well, I mean, it's Oakland. It's Oakland. It's such a mishmash of people who just refuse to change who they are. But I love how
not much different from Oakland.
Oakland, all right. And on that note,
shout out to Cliff. No.
KCLIFL. All right, man. As usual, last word before we get on up out of here.
No doubt, man. Once again, man, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to another edition of Urban Academia. We appreciate y'all following us each weekend and chiming in with your thoughts and everything. We still want y'all to get more active and tuning in and calling in with us. We want to speak to y'all. But code switching, man, don't trip on it. It's not a big deal. Say what you got to say the way you need to say it. And don't let nobody stop you from doing that if you're communicating your point. You know what I mean? Stay up, man. Stay blessed. Love y'all.
For you.